Hello everyone, welcome to Frame Trap, your definitive source for anime and anime-related products.
I'm out.
On the panel this week, we've got Brandon Jones.
Hello.
Bradley Ellis.
Hi.
Ooh, I like that. Michael Huber.
I like Death Note.
And I'm your host, Ben Moore. Before we get into the thick of things, just a few housekeeping things. The first one is, I realized that we are shooting this in the same garage that we shoot the Easy Allies podcast. Brandon Jones was nice enough to set up table mics and give us a table and a black tablecloth, make it look a little bit different.
A little edgier.
But I am very aware that we need to do something with this show to separate it from the main podcast. We're doing that. I just moved apartments, and so...
You did?
I did, yeah.
Whoa.
My entire living situation is still a little bit in disarray, so I'm trying to sort that out.
Quick question. Is there still a big just stockpile of games in your living room?
Oh, it's even worse.
Oh
because there were games in my old apartment
Yeah.
that I had to box up, and now I'm trying to organize them because my dream, I have to go buy shelves, is to shelve every single game that I own.
You don't have enough
But I don't have enough space,
There's
and so right
absolutely
now,
possible.
I've just got, I've got original Xbox games stacked up to the ceiling, I've got Wii games stacked up to the ceiling, and it's like, oh man, what am I going to do with this copy of, Never Dead?
Hunter
In
the
middle of my living
Reckoning.
room. Yeah,
Hunter the Reckoning.
I've got both of them.
Regular Xbox.
Yeah, I've got both of them. The other thing that I want to bring up real quick is this is going to probably be a little bit shorter than normal. Today's a busy day in terms of production, and so we're trying to squeeze this in where we can. I apologize. That's not your fault that our production is crazy, but yeah, just letting you know, forewarning ahead of time. And to start off the show, do you guys remember the Frame Trap bets? Brad, you weren't
No.
there for this, but
Enlighten me.
Huber.
What bet was where definitely got hazy during E3.
Sure, absolutely.
There's still one I gotta check the tape that Kyle says I was involved with, where I'm like, I don't think so.
Titanfall.
Yeah, don't drag me down with you.
So the realistic bets for
I remember this.
for E3 is Brennan Jones. You said Resident Evil 7 would be announced.
Yeah.
I
Believed.
thought your bet was the most unrealistic of the three, and it was the one that was correct. Michael Damiani said that they would announce Final Fantasy XII HD during E3, and he just went ahead and did this. I probably would have given him the benefit of the doubt, but he already acted like he lost. They did announce Final Fantasy XII HD, but they didn't do it during E3, and so we kind of collectively counted that as a loss for him.
What?
So wait, what is he?
So he just went ahead and played Shovel Knight.
Wait, that was if he lost, he had to play Shovel
He
Knight?
had to play Shovel Knight.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
God, I
When
hate
we
this.
when we worked at Game Trailers, I remember Damiani just wouldn't play it, and it was like, Damiani, it's your favorite game of all time. You just don't know it yet. What
Yeah.
was his thought on Shovel Knight?
He loved it.
Okay, yes.
And now he refuses to play it again. It's
What?
like he hasn't played it since that stream.
Damiani's time is very valuable.
What a maniac!
Oh, I love it, but I'm never gonna play it.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, it's upsetting. Michael Huber, you bet that the Evil Within 2 would be at E3, and I wanted that dream to
That
come
would have been
true.
sweet.
Yeah.
But I'm very happy about this outcome, because now you have to play an hour of God Hand.
Excellent.
And I'm not going to, I trust you. I'm not going to give you a time limit on this.
Okay, I'll do it my next stream.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Didn't someone have to watch Evangelion or something?
So Brandon got it right. If he got
Oh,
it
okay.
wrong,
That would have been so good,
Yeah.
dude.
he would have had to
I
watch
wonder if
Neon
Brandon
Genesis
would think of
Evangelion.
Dodged a
Shinji
bullet.
so bad.
Yeah, he dodged a bullet. Don't worry, we'll try to get him. We'll try to get him in
Feel
something
free,
else.
feel free to make that. I mean, keep trying that bet.
Yeah, I will.
I want to.
Evangelion.
That
but
is so
Brandon
I want that to
Jones-
happen, but for the right reasons.
Right. Your reward.
Yo, no, next time though, because next time it has to be higher stakes. He has to write a review, just a paragraph on the first 3 episodes.
I like this. I like
Book
this
report.
corroboration.
The thing that I liked about Evangelion.
So, your victory, because only one of the three of you got it right. I only have to do one bad thing for myself. I have to tweet out, Persona 5 looks stupid.
Will you
So
do
I'm going
it
to
right
do
now?
I'm going to do it right now.
Do it right now. Okay.
The thing I didn't tell you, and it wasn't in the stipulation of the bet, is I'm going to put some hashtags on there.
Sure.
Is that fair?
Or you could just reply to that tweet immediately, 5 minutes later, and be like, "Stupid good."
Oh,
No, it can't be 5 minutes. It's gotta be like, you need a cool 30 on
After
that.
this podcast.
You need
I don't know. I
Oh,
think
that's great.
I
Yeah.
think your Twitter fan base would get it. You know, I think they would. I don't know. In some weird like '90s slang kind of way, I think they'd be like, "Yeah, it is."
Some AC Slater jokes.
So what do you have to say? It's
Persona
This is Saved by the Bell
Stupid
style.
5 looks stupid.
Oh my god.
Can you say it looks really bad?
Hashtag
No,
lost
that was
bad.
the
can't-
bet was Persona
okay,
5
looks
looks stupid,
okay, yeah.
and I'm gonna do frame trap. Hashtag frame trap.
Hashtag lost a bad.
Yeah.
Hashtag Resident Evil 7.
Hashtag Shinji.
Hashtag BT.
No, just Shinji from Alien Island.
All right.
Hashtag kitchen.
So that is now live. We're not going to be able to review Persona 5 anymore. No, just kidding. Anyway, wanted to get those done. People had some feedback about the bets that they didn't like that I made my own stakes.
Oh.
And then maybe we should do something because bets are kind of a common theme around here. I just have so much fun betting. That's the only reason I did it is I like betting.
Let it ride.
And I wanted Hubert to play God Hand. Those were kind of my two driving factors. But we're still in the early days of this show. Maybe we can
Yes.
think of some other game we can get.
If these
involved
guys chicken out of TGS bets, that'd be great if Frame Trap picked that up. Get some TGS
That's
bets.
more frame trap domain.
There's just not a lot you can expect out of TGS, but
Yeah, I don't think we do.
I think you could still make.
Kyle and I have never done TGS. We do PSX for sure.
Oh yeah.
But TGS.
Well,
You should just take
the
those,
thing
man.
about TGS is in Japan they have like those crazy game shows.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something. you can do there.
Yes.
I don't
It's
know.
like a black wig in your future, Ben, and a pink suit.
I would
Yes.
love to rock a pink
Yes.
suit. Yeah. Let's get started with the first segment of the show. What have you been playing? I'm going to go a little bit out of order this week. Bradley Ellis.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
Caught you
I'm
off
curious
guard.
about you.
Nah, okay, so I've been playing obviously Overwatch, always in the rotation. Haven't been playing a ton of other games though because of that E3 cooldown. But I've been playing a little game called Odin Sphere Leifthrasir.
I've been playing it as well.
So, Odin Sphere, original PS2 game made by Vanillaware. I don't remember when it came out.
High school. That's when I bought it.
PS2 era.
Yeah.
So like
It was high school.
2005, 2004.
2002, 3, 4.
Wow, was it
somewhere
that
in there.
early?
It was like 2003, 2004.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I bought it in high school. It's the only.
Check the facts, man.
Yeah.
No, you could be right. I
No, I mean,
didn't
yeah.
play it on the PS2, and so we shouldn't fact check on this show.
I
It's
love
those
fact
things
checks,
down.
man.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do it while you guys are talking.
So Odin Sphere, side-scrolling RPG, much like pretty much all Vanillaware games, very similar to Muramasa, just a little more RPG-esque, I would say, like the alchemy and like planting seeds and making food out of like those little pink spirits. I don't remember what they're called or whatever.
Whoa.
But
2007.
Yeah, I thought it
so
was
not
yours.
high school,
College.
college.
Wow.
I was gonna guess 07, 08. Okay.
Yeah, college.
College.
But yeah, has fun combat system you've been playing it too. Really fun to juggle guys around and everything. Really seems pretty deep for 2D at least. But I think there's 5 playable characters, something like that. And I just beat the first one, and it took me like 6 hours. So the game is long.
Yeah.
Settle in.
Yeah, it's the RPG mechanics in that game really go a long way with it. Just the whole, because it doesn't use that traditional level up system. You have
Correct.
to.
Well, it kind of does. You can get points for like killing guys.
Yes, but the way that you grow plants and how
Yeah.
those plants work and how certain plants, when you grow them, make other seeds and all of that stuff, just diving in and figuring that stuff out, and that those plants can also heal you.
Yeah,
And so
and they-
deciding to use
yeah.
it for experience or for health is really
Yeah,
really
they
cool.
can like increase your max health, like
Right.
as they give you XP like that. And you can also there's like cooking, which you might remember.
I remember the
combine
plants,
ingredients.
dude.
Yeah.
I like briefly remember that. But then they changed the combat. It's like way different now.
I don't remember what the combat was like in the old one because it's been since 2007.
It was just like
since I played
moving
it.
left and right and like pushing squares.
There's like you have like special attacks and everything in this,
Okay.
but I think before you had to like go to a menu and use them. I think someone was telling me about that. So they just really like streamlined everything, made it a lot faster now. And I think they zoned out the camera a little bit because it was really close in the original one, so it's hard to see everything. But it's fun, having a good time.
And we say this with every Vanillaware game, but that art is just absolutely
tier.
outstanding. I mean, you're
Always.
fighting a boss, and it's this gorgeous, like the person who drew this dragon must have spent years on it. It seems like I don't know how you would make something so detailed, and just seeing it come to life in the middle of a battle is really, really cool. And the story is interesting.
Yeah,
in Odin Sphere,
it's fun,
and
yeah.
how you bounce around between different perspectives. It's definitely sort of an old like an old Greek myth in a lot of ways, or like a Norse myth or something. Like it's the way they speak is very deliberate, and it's just cool. I remember a few years ago, like around the time of Double Dragon Neon, people were like, they're bringing back these beat 'em ups, and I'm getting bored super quickly. Maybe this genre is dead, and yada yada yada. And you don't see a lot of beat 'em ups anymore. And not that I would describe Odin Sphere as a pure beat 'em up. But
It has
I was
like
thinking
beat 'em
about
up
it.
things in it, yeah.
Definitely. There are some similarities to be drawn there, and it's like, man, I wish the genre could have taken more ideas from this and gone in a direction that had a little bit more depth, because I don't feel like Odin Sphere you ever get like mired down in it. Like I never am spending like minutes at a time like digging around in menus and stuff. Things are usually going pretty snappy, but there's just enough of that to kind of give you a feeling of customization, and like there's a skill tree system and all that stuff. And thinking about old beat 'em ups like Streets of Rage and Golden Axe and stuff, I was like, they could do something.
Sing it, brother.
Yeah, especially like a Golden Axe. Like, imagine if you had the Vanillaware treatment to something like this.
All I want in my life, well, I want a lot of things, but come on. Dragon's Crown 2, let's go.
Yeah, that's more of like the
Let it ride.
Golden Axe.
Well, I was going to
Did
say
Dragon's Crown do
those are
well?
written for Vita and 3DS.
I think
It's
Dragon's
like-
Crown did well. I think
It's
it
such
did.
a good genre for those systems.
I think it did well.
Dragon's Crown 2 PSX.
No,
2016.
they're making like a
They're making
sci-fi
something
game.
else.
Yeah, like a sci-fi
yeah.
game.
Making-
Confirmed?
Yeah. Besides Odin Sphere, you've been doing anything else?
Nope, just Overwatch.
Okay.
And I've talked about that enough.
Let's do our just a quick check-in on Overwatch. So that game's been out for a while now, and I think one of the things that you saw in the reviews is a lack of content being a worry. Is that something that's true for you?
I don't know. I've been playing it since closed beta, you know? So I've been playing a lot longer than other people. And I'm still not, like, frustrated, I guess, at the lack of content. Like, I'm ready for more. But I'm not, like, super angry about it or anything. I'm like, okay, I could use a new map now. But I've been playing for so long. But it's still so much fun, man.
And more is coming.
Oh, yeah, more stuff's
Do you
coming.
think that kind of alleviates it a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, we're already, like, pretty much, we already know what the next heroes kind of be like and everything like that. So it's nice knowing it's coming. Ranked play's coming.
I think
Public test realm already. It's out.
I think ranked play is huge because it's a form of progression.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right now it's very, you go in, you shoot some
yeah.
guys, win some matches. You don't really feel that hook to keep playing unless you're like really going after those loot boxes.
Are you ready for this?
But
in the PTR,
yeah.
you could buy, not with real money, gold weapons.
Oh yeah. Why? When did this gold
don't
weapon
know.
thing
I don't know.
happen? I hate gold weapons.
Yeah.
I don't like.
They're-
I want
they're
my weapon
garish,
black. Normals. I don't want like
No,
pink.
that was the first
polka
thing.
dots.
That was the first thing when I started up Red Dead for Red Dead Revisited for the weekly stream.
Yeah.
The guns were gold automatically. Like I started up a new Xbox account. It was like, oh yeah, you bought a certain kind of Red Dead or you unlocked something, and you have to like do a like Super Nintendo era button press combination code and like hold it for 6 seconds to like take them off.
God.
And I have to do it every single time I
Oh.
boot the game. Every time I boot the game,
Damn,
by
that
default,
sucks.
they're like super shiny,
I hate that.
like totally distracting gold weapons.
I
Like,
hate gold weapons.
it's like if I gave you a solid gold Uzi right now, you'd be like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Gold weapons.
Although a gold Reinhardt hammer
I've
might
seen
be
it, yeah.
pretty cool.
Could be.
Something that Blizzard has done with their other games, like Heroes of the Storm and Hearthstone, that I think could work really, really well in Overwatch is some sort of quest system. Like, imagine you had a quest where it was
Daily
like,
quest.
win 3 games is May, or don't play Bastion today. That's
Yeah.
your quest.
But I think you were telling me about this, or the reason they didn't do that, or the reason they didn't have experience
for specific heroes.
for specific heroes was because they don't want people to play like that. They want you to play just organically, normally.
Yeah,
Sure,
the game's
that makes
about
sense.
switching
Yeah.
heroes on the fly,
Yeah.
That
and
makes
that would
sense.
change the game a lot for stuff.
But if it was just simple like win 3 games, or
yeah,
something,
they could
like-
totally do stuff like that.
And you're right. I should have thought about that, and they have talked about that. You can't just graft that same exact thing onto Overwatch. But I sort of agree with you. Like maybe this is where ranked play will come in and will solve this problem for me. But when I get into Overwatch, every single time I play it, I have a blast. But I wish there was just a little bit of focus, something to work on. It's what I like in other games, even something like a Call of Duty where I'm getting new weapons, or that just incentive to try new things or think about playing a little bit of a different way, just a little bit of incentive here and there. And if they could find something that would work for Overwatch, I think it would go a long way for me, personally. Even though if they don't add that stuff, Overwatch isn't any less of a game.
Yeah.
It's still incredible. It's not that. But just ideas, just spitballing.
Watch the tapping, Brad. The tap.
Sorry.
Each tap goes directly into the mic.
Yep.
And make sure they can see your pretty face, Huber.
Yep. We're trying not to cover our faces.
Get right in that. Yeah, right between the goalposts.
I'll put my hands off the table then.
Michael Huber,
Hello.
what have you been playing?
Like Brad, man, this E3 come down is just so intense. Been playing Umbrella Corps for review. Stay tuned for the review. It should be going up this week. Don't really want to talk about that too much because I'm reviewing it.
Okay.
So I want to talk about one game and very briefly one film.
Yes.
What would you want me to start with, Ben Moore?
Huber, the thing about Frame Trap is I'm not some dictator.
If you were sitting at my ramen shop, what would you order first?
Let's say I'm a regular at this ramen shop.
Yeah.
I always get the same thing.
Okay.
I always get the games. I walk in on a Saturday night, just got dumped, feeling blue. So
Yeah.
I go to my favorite ramen shop to cheer myself up, and I say, "Why don't you give me a film tonight?"
Okay. So we'll start there. It is a great time to be a horror fan with recent hits like the original Conjuring, even sequels like Insidious 3 to make me care about like horror characters in a new way, like the daughter in that film Brad and I talk about. And then It Follows, The Witch, and The Wailing. All 3 of those movies have kind of raised the bar of horror films in the last little bit. So Conjuring 2 gets announced, and Brad and I are stoked about it because Conjuring 1. So we go see it the other day, and we're mixed!
Huber,
I'm not going to give away any spoilers for this movie, but Brad and I came out just super high and super low at the same time. Didn't really know what to think about it.
The Conjuring 1 was a movie that I just remember you just screaming the title at GT. You would just you just say The Conjuring.
Yeah.
Well, he'd do that a lot.
Yeah, he would
With
do that with
anything.
a lot of things. That's true. But you would like come up to me, put your hand on my shoulder, and be like, "The Conjuring." And
Once
one day
again,
you,
does that a lot
he
with
does
everything.
Yes, but you gave me the Blu-ray,
Yeah.
and I watched it.
Yeah.
And I think I love horror, but
Yeah.
a lot of horror movies are trash.
A
And
lot.
It's not
Because
that
there's so much volume.
it's not that I don't. It's not that I didn't trust your recommendation, but I feel like there are very, very few horror movies that I loved, and I ended up really liking it. And I think the thing that I liked about The Conjuring is that it was grounded.
Yeah.
That there was a believability to it.
Yes.
How does that carry over?
So again, I'm not going to talk about spoilers for this movie for
Okay.
people that haven't seen it. The biggest problem with The Conjuring 2 is he had too high of budget.
Yes.
If that
okay,
makes sense.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
The Conjuring 1, again, it's so grounded. It's a lot of, they tell you, they don't show you. And this is the other way around. Conjuring 2 just shows you a lot of stuff. And it was just like a wildly inconsistent tone. Very, very, very masterful scenes. There are like a couple scenes in this movie that will just send shivers down your spine and take your breath away, where it is like, oh my god, like this is horror at its best. And then there are other scenes that just like, there were a couple scenes where Brad and I just both looked over at each other like, what?
Yeah.
Like it's a joke. So
What do you mean? What makes it a joke?
just, it's hard.
Over the top.
Yeah, it's just over the top.
I'll say
cheesy.
Something, comes that's really out of place.
It's really out of place.
It doesn't feel like it belongs there.
Yeah, there's
I was
just
like, what?
It was just really inconsistent. But, you know, there have been worse sequels.
Oh, yeah.
The Conjuring 2 does not take away from the legacy of the Conjuring 1.
Legacy.
Yeah, it's got a legacy. James Wan, you know, he it's still a solid movie, but it is not the landmark that the original was.
Do you think it? This is just me totally extrapolating here, but do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think it suffers from the fact that it is a sequel? Like, do you feel like the Conjuring 1 had this like clarity of focus, and the Conjuring 2 is like, well, now we have to do this again?
Yeah, absolutely.
For me, I think it was they tried new things that don't fit into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That don't belong in that movie. That's what they kind of did.
Yeah. And just the budget. It was too
high budget.
Yeah, they showed too much.
So
even like
Go
the Babadook, which just came out too. I forgot to mention that one. Like, there's been such good horror.
Babadook's got some good moments.
Yeah, but even the Babadook suffered from showing too much too early, and I just think that's such a big problem with horror. It's like, leave the mystery going for as long as you can, because once they show it, me as an audience member like is less afraid. So
my understanding, that is something that Wailing did perfectly. Is that you have no idea what to expect when you walk into the theater, regardless of what you've seen in the trailers.
Yes.
Which is really cool.
Wailing is the new Conjuring. It's the best. And The Witch. Saw The Witch twice.
Yeah, I saw The Witch with you.
Never
It was
need to see
amazing.
that again.
Oh,
So
those-
that's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough.
If you haven't seen those, check it out. So keeping kind of the horror focus going into the game.
Ooh.
Going into the game realm, Blood and Wine still chipping away. The Witcher. I will not spoil anything. I will not be talking about the main quest. But I think it's been a while now where I can talk about just a couple of the mechanics. Not too spoilery. My favorite thing is that you get a winery that you can kind of like upgrade, kind of like Animal Crossing style. Player housing is one of my favorite things in video games. If you have player housing, like, I'm there. What's really cool is and I love economies. So Witcher is just doing everything I love. Like, money means so much more in this expansion because it is so expensive to upgrade your home. It is so expensive
Is there a point to upgrading your home?
Yes. When you sleep in your bed now, you get stat bonuses depending on what stuff is upgraded in your house.
So if you have like a nice bookshelf, you'll
No.
get more attack?
No. You can upgrade like the bedroom, which gives you like more stamina. You can upgrade the stable, which gives your horse faster speed.
Okay.
You can upgrade the herb garden, so you can just pick herbs now. You don't have to go out in the wild. There's like an alchemy thing underground that you can like mess around with.
Okay.
And the story behind it too, it's all tied to a side quest of just these wine wars, because Toussaint is like a very wine-centered region. So just the way you get it, and again, just the economy of like having to upgrade that, and oh my god, I just want to spoil some stuff. There are just there are just some really, really cool side things involved with your house that I absolutely love. So The Witcher 3 Blood and Wine, just
House things that you love.
yeah.
Someone breaks in your house and you fight them off.
No.
That's something my hero would love.
Yeah, no home invasions yet. No, but then you can get like art. You like can put art in your house, and you can win fighting tournaments and Gwent tournaments, and you get trophies you can put in your house. You can put armor and weapons in your house. Like, it's so cool. And it just, especially for Geralt too, he has like quips about, I've never had a house before. You know, you have like your major
Context.
Yeah, you have your guy that like kind of runs the house, and Geralt's kind of just like, I don't know what the hell to do. I've never lived in a house. Like, so just the context of it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
What I love about what I've heard about these expansions, and specifically Blood and Wine, is you get a lot of DLC, and it just feels like another little tiny episode, like just another like little appendage that they stick onto the main game. But this sounds like, CD Projekt Red sat down and were like, how can we expand this game?
Yeah.
Like, things that you would normally save for a sequel, they're including in a DLC that is fairly reasonable price. That's super cool to see.
And it has like all new graphics.
Right.
The region looks better than the main game because they
Whoa.
redid so much of the vegetation and added so many animals.
Does it?
And
A quick question: the new region, is it like an island or teleportation somewhere, or is it like?
it's like southeast of.
So can you
Velen?
ride from one of the current
No,
locations?
no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You have to like
I got
teleport
you.
in, and then it's like a huge
Do you,
region.
are there quests that send you back to other areas to do something, or is it all self-contained?
It's all self-contained.
Yeah, I think
Cool.
they did that
Oh,
with the
man.
last one.
Just-
So they're like,
oh.
we'll do something different.
Tear into that thing. I
Yeah.
can't wait.
Hearts of Stone to me was better than the main game of The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
And it didn't even have a new region.
Mm-hmm.
Like Blood and Wine is.
So do you think because of the new region and the new additions that this is the best Witcher 3 experience of the set?
Again, I'm not going to talk about the main story at all,
Yes.
but it is my style, so I like it the most.
Okay.
Yeah.
My question to you, and I want to extend this to the rest of the panel and see if other people have the same feelings or maybe some advice, is my thing with The Witcher 3 is I got about, I would say roughly 75% of the way through it. I got pretty far.
Yeah.
I think my save file has like 35, 40 hours on it, something like that. But we got to Game of the Year, and I was reviewing Xenoblade Chronicles X
Yeah.
at the time, which was very time consuming. Yeah. And it just got away from me. It was like a fish that I had on my reel that
Yes.
just slipped away. And then Hearts of Stone.
Yeah.
And then Blood and Wine.
Yeah.
And so as much as I enjoyed that game and as much as I want to get back to it, I feel like this mountain that was already really tall just like added a couple more mountains on
Yeah.
top of it. And that's intimidating to me.
Very.
And have you guys had that experience with a game where
So
you
many
wanted to
games.
get back in, but they just kept updating it or adding things? Like Team Fortress 2 is another example where I played that very early on, and then like years later I tried to get back in, and it's like I don't even recognize this.
Yeah, what are these, like, XP, new weapons? This guy's got a hat. That guy's a freaking baseball bat.
World
with
of Warcraft.
Sandman.
Yeah.
World of Warcraft.
Yeah. And
I didn't play Pandaria, dude. Like I wouldn't know what's what.
yeah.
I wouldn't know how my class played. I wouldn't know where to go to get items. Like I wouldn't. What?
Legion, you're coming in,
No,
Jones.
I'm not. No,
you're coming
no,
in.
no,
you're
no.
coming in with us. It's happening. We're making bets. We're getting Jones in there somehow, somewhere. Oh yeah.
Jones, it's Legion or anime. You got to choose one.
Well, anime, I could watch that. You know, I could podcast style that. You know, I could watch
Yeah.
anime while I'm playing Pokemon or something. Where
Sure.
it's like you can't do something and also play Warcraft. You can't raise children. Like, maintain a healthy relationship.
I don't know. I feel like you can definitely do some pretty mindless things in Warcraft where maybe you could put on anime or something. if you
Didn't they
wanted
put Bejeweled in Warcraft? Is that still in
I
there?
don't know.
Didn't they add that at some point?
don't play
You could just
WoW
play
anymore.
Bejeweled in Warcraft.
to.
Probably.
That doesn't sound familiar to me. But
I just
don't
like
know.
those pet
They put
battles.
Pokemon in Warcraft, yeah.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, you can battle.
So my question to you about the getting away from you sort of thing is, do you just say, hey, it's time for me to let this one go, or do you make time for it, or is it a case by case basis?
Ben, you changed my life a little while ago with our Yakuza discussion about hopping in, hopping in. I've always been in the camp that no, you need to play the story in order. It is such a big deal with those games. You're like, well, if you haven't, just hop in and have fun. And I'm gonna say the same to you about Witcher. So be it. If you don't remember where you are, just dive in. It'll all come back to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Play what you can.
Play what you can. Just dive in.
Don't think yourself out of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've thought myself out of too many JRPGs in my lifetime.
Thought myself out of too many life decisions. Brandon Jones, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
You were manning the ship during E3.
Well, we were all manning the ship.
Definitely.
We were all just like Sea of
Definitely.
Thieves up in this piece.
But
we were
you had a few
we
more
were
feathers in
battening the
your cap,
hatches.
let's say.
Yeah, I have a bittersweet. I got 2 games. One is Bittersweet.
Ooh.
It is called Disney Infinity 3.0.
Rest in peace.
The final playset, Finding Dory, came out. And like, I don't know. Part of me wanted it to be bad. Part of me kind of wanted it to just like, because I saw a screenshot of it. I didn't really look into it because you know what's depressing, man. I want to make like awesome thumbs for like, oh, I got to Alice from the Alice in Wonderland movie. I bet there's like an awesome screenshot of her like running through the toy box. Like they just stopped making screenshots. Like they don't.
Wait, what was
they
that
don't exist.
figure? I just saw an article of this figure will never be released.
It was Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
And Peter Pan was the other huge bummer because that was a fan vote that they picked Peter Pan. So that figure was in development.
How long
Like,
development?
we'll probably see what that looked like down the road. And so, yeah, the game, like the press, machine for Infinity is finished. So I didn't really know a lot going into it, and I thought it was just going to be a really simple side-scrolling swimming game. But there's first-person swimming. They have like a little area that's in I guess they go to an aquarium in Finding Dory. Not spoilers because I haven't seen the film. And so you have like a little open-world area that you can go. There's little fish you can like do missions for. There's a little tunnel system that you can take to like go to other areas in the aquarium. And then when you go to those other areas, it's like straight Metroid, like pixel junk. Like you need to collect other types of fish that have different abilities that'll help you get into areas. There's like backtracking and it's each area is just, I mean, it's for kids. So like each area is just small enough that I'm like, oh, look at that. An hour and a half went by and I'm still playing the game. A lot of Infinity stuff has come in that I just play on the streams and I'm like, oh, I'd like to get back to that later. And I don't, just because I'm like playing other games. But like this one, I'm like, I'll probably finish this. The playsets at least, like I should do one full playthrough, and just wrap those up.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying it. It makes me happy. It makes me want to see the movie, but of course it's like
Sad.
damn depressing at the same time. And a friend of mine came over. We hung out because it was his birthday, and we needed just a dumb game to play. Try to get Final Fantasy XIV working on the PS4. Let's talk about that for 5 seconds, which I can't. I cannot play that game. Because I had an old account on PlayStation 3, and now I created a new one for my new character, because I'm like, I don't want to worry about what credit card I had or whatever. Let me just make a new account. My PlayStation Final Fantasy IV account is locked onto my profile for
That's
PlayStation.
so dumb.
So I have to dig up that old account and that old password, but I have no idea what it is. I was going through all the here's your safe question. What are the answers? I answered them all correctly, and they're like, nope, every time. So I'm like, all right.
Wait.
So I'm like locked out of that account. I can't like tie that to something. If you go to the MOG house or whatever, the MOG portal or like their website, it's like, dude, just talk to PlayStation. We don't handle any of that. It's just like bold red print. It's like, you don't change that information here. You do that within Sony. And Sony's like, you have your Sony account. And I'm like, no, I have another account now that I want to play on PlayStation. Nope. So I'm trying to do that. I thought we'd get that up and running. Didn't. So I'm like, oh, let's just play a done game. And I downloaded and played to completion Trials of the Blood Dragon, which I know you played too, Ben.
I finished it as well.
Because you are currently the leaderboard among the allies. You are right on top.
Wait, are you beating Dawn?
Like 4 mil
I
or
think Dawn
something.
plays on Xbox.
Dawn's on Xbox, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did not try very hard to get like top spots.
Whoa.
Kyle didn't try at all. Kyle's like 260,000 or something, like way at the bottom. That's like one run.
I'm gonna beat all you got. No, just kidding.
But that was a weird game. That's a game I'm done with. I don't know if I'll go back and play because they had like weird on foot parts.
I think that game is bad.
But it feels like a game that doesn't aspire to be anything more than what it is. It's one of those games that it just seems like they set out to do something and they did it. It doesn't seem like they had like the on foot segments are so weird, but it seems like a weird little experiment on their end and not like, well, clearly this game has to get made, but what are we gonna do about these on foot parts? Like it just seemed like some devs just having fun.
The biggest thing Don said was that there's no creator.
Right. But it's very story.
So the game is
like,
pretty much
it's a sequel to Blood Dragon.
He's like, it's pretty much dead on arrival because
What
you
it is?
can't create stages, and that is
Michael
what
Bain's in and everything, man. It is story heavy.
That's so
There's
funny.
actually some crazy
so
things that happen
weird.
in the story. But the one thing that does crack me up is you have a machine gun now. So you have to be doing tricks. Oh, and the grappling hook is really fun. Have you gotten to the grappling hook?
Yeah, I finished the game. So
Grappling hook's pretty fun. Those parts it's fun to go up and jump, and then it's just the analog stick. So as long as it's aiming towards something to catch you on the grappling hook, it'll auto fire. So you don't have to actually fire it. And so it's like knowing when the momentum of your bike is dropping, and then you shoot the grappling hook to get a good swing. And as like in old Trials games, a lot of times there'll be like the high road and the low road, where it's like you don't need to take the high road, but there'll be other bonuses up there, kind of like Donkey Kong does, where it's like just see if you can get up there and get the extra bonus stuff. Now in the grappling hook sections, that's based on how well you hook yourself and get enough momentum to get up there.
So the thing about
parts of that game are bad.
the thing about the grappling hook for me, and it's just like every section of that game has like varying degrees of something that really turned me off of it. The grappling hook thing, the momentum doesn't always add up. Like sometimes you'll swing and you'll be going at a speed, and your character will move as you think it is. So it's like, okay, I'm going this speed, I will go up here and then I'll swing back. And sometimes it will follow that momentum, and then other times you'll be going like a very similar speed and your character will like flip all the way around the thing. And it's like, no, wait, it's hard for me to gauge how I should use this tool if it doesn't seem consistent between swings.
I feel like Trials is kind of like Octodad sometimes, where like the controls are intentionally bad just to watch you flail, you know,
Octodad.
just to watch you like struggle with it. But the one thing I liked about it is if anyone from Ubisoft or the dev team of Trials is watching, I do like a small Trials game. I do like a bite-sized single evening Trials portion, because like a lot of times when I get updates on Trials, I'm like, yes, I love Trials. And never get into the customization stuff, even though I do love that because I don't have time. You know, like I just want to go through and play some fun tracks. But inevitably, I'll play like 70% of it, and then that last 30 is so damn hard that I'm just like, I can't. You know, because it's like it's not only like a couple tracks, it's like 2 whole sections of tracks. So it's like usually about 5 to 10 that I just miss because like there's no way I'll play it for a second, but there's no way I'm finishing that. And so having a small thing that's maybe really difficult, even though even Blood Dragon's pretty easy, that maybe there's just 2 tracks at the end that are balls to the wall hard, then I might try those. If there's just 2, like I might, you know, kind of beat myself up like Soul style to try to get through them. But if it's like a whole Trials sequel that has all this, you know, impossible stuff at the end, I'll probably skip it. So
it's just the thing for me about Trials of the Blood Dragon is the only levels I enjoyed were the bike ones, because the on-foot stuff, like moving and jumping around, just feels absolutely atrocious. And the way they design the levels, like, you'll just be running, and then there's a door, and then a guy will come out of the door, and you just have to shoot him before he shoots you. Like, there's no finesse to it. In fact, it's better for you to just be shooting all the time to make sure, like, you clear everything up. And these on-foot sections feel like something you just need to get through. Whereas the bike stuff, I feel like, suffers as a result because, like you said, it's super easy. And I feel like if they had just made a bike game, they could have gotten a little bit more crazy and creative with the levels. And having played Trials HD, Trials Evolution, and Trials Fusion, and seeing how awesome they can get with the level design, like here it's scaled back in favor of worse things, like the on-foot stuff, and the jetpack feels completely awful. And
it's
I think
you're
I
like
just
drunk
wanted
in the jetpack.
yeah. I feel like I would have just rather had a straight up Trials game, because these other things that they try, like the jetpack and the on-foot stuff, it feels like the engine wasn't made to do that. Like, they built this for a dirt bike game, and when you do other things, it's really out of place.
I like the acid trip level though. That was fun. You get like drugged in one level and stuff comes like flying in and out. And
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
like
GTA
all this
5.
crazy stuff happens.
Yeah.
There's like a Raiders of the Lost Ark themed area, and they actually like scared me because it's like there's like a bad demon that's like chasing you because you're like trying to steal the Holy Grail.
Whoa.
And Trials loves like having graphical stuff just come flying in and out sometimes when they do like trippy levels, and this like ghost like deer-headed demon just comes like flying out really quick and like just runs like flies right to the camera and then zooms back, and I was like, whoa, like motorcycle game, that was actually kind of freaky.
Sounds pretty spooky.
But yeah, on foot, not good. It'd be fun if you could skip it, you know, if there's like a button where it's just like, if you want to just skip this level and
Like Lords of Shadow
go to
Puzzles.
the next one. Yeah.
I totally agree with you though. Like bite-sized Trials, like 2.5 run through of a campaign seems really, really good.
Like
it didn't work
Trials
for me
and
here.
Portal should make a game now. You know, like I like the idea of Trials
Yeah.
being like a genre that other genres can adapt.
No.
No?
No.
Okay. No is the vote on that.
No.
Michael Huber just doesn't like Portals.
No portals.
I don't like portals
And lasers.
and lasers.
Laser puzzles.
Whoa.
It's so like when am I in school? let me move this laser. Oh no, that doesn't do it. Let me
yeah.
move this portal here, and then the
Hold on.
laser there.
Hold on, let me pump the brakes real quick for everyone freaks out at Mike Huber right now, okay? Mike Huber does enjoy Portal, the game.
Love Portal.
But I think he's talking about examples like Darksiders.
Darksiders.
At the end of the game where you get that portal gun.
Darksiders.
And it is the most weird thing ever.
And even Witcher 3 has some, like, you gotta go through the portals in order.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
It sounds like you're talking about, you're playing a game, you're having a good time, and the game is like clearly designed around like a couple of things like exploration and combat, and then all of a sudden it comes to a screeching halt to make you do like an obtuse puzzle
Yes!
that like
Yes!
is deliberately designed to be a pain in the ass where you
Yes!
can't manipulate multiple things at once. It's like, okay, now I have to go over here and turn this crank a little bit, and then I have to go over here
Yes!
and move this up and down. Just some padding. You
Yes.
don't like padding.
I don't like padding.
My hope is that the new Zelda game has those just like out in the wild.
Yeah.
You just kind of stumble upon something and you're like, whoa, I clearly can't open that yet. And like, you totally can. You can figure it out right now.
Right.
But you can't, you maybe got to play a little bit more of the game to get how this, like the Witness,
How the
kind of
mechanic
like to
works.
get how
But
that stuff works.
It's totally different when you can approach it at your own pace and,
Yeah.
and you feel
No,
like
that's the difference.
I am
Yeah.
choosing to take this on rather than
Yeah.
being locked into a room. So Brandon, you've got Trials of the Blood Dragon, you've got Disney Infinity 3.0. Is there anything else?
I don't know if I talked about War Bits before. That's a military game I'm playing with my friends on mobile. We have long been searching for a more than 2-player versus and co-op, top-down tactical military.
It's a mouthful.
Like Ghost Recon for the 3DS. Did you play that when that first came out? It's
game
kind
was
of like Final
super
Fantasy Tactics,
Yeah.
just something like that, where just like it's your turn in the battle. I'm like, all right, let me make those 2 troops, move that guy over there, blow up that helicopter. Okay, done. And then like, my next friend will play in the next 2 days, and then it'll buzz me, and I'll like do another mission. But surprisingly, all of them are one-on-one. Like there's very rare that you get any kind of like more than 1 or 2 player multiplayer thing, and co-op meaning me and another person against 2 other people. Never. Like maybe 2 games on the app on the Mac.
Isn't Clash of Clans like that or something?
It's always 1v1.
Oh,
like you can
okay.
have guilds that watch other things,
I gotcha.
and like sometimes you can borrow troops from other people. When it actually gets down to combat, it's always 1v1. So War Bits, a little too cartoony for my taste, but pretty fun so far.
Cool.
I'm horrible at it, but still fun.
I've got 2 games that I could go on forever about, but in the interest of spoilers and time, I think I'm going to try to make them as succinct as possible. I want to try to sell at least one person on the Zero Escape series, because I'm playing through the 3rd game, Zero Time Dilemma, which didn't feel like it was going to happen for a very long time, and now it's finally happening. This series, now that I'm in the 3rd game and I'm seeing how it's all wrapped up.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Do I need to play the other 2 to play this one?
So let's get this out of the way. The Zero Escape series started as 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors,
Right.
999 on the DS.
Yeah.
That was the only way that you could play it. I think you can get a
it
visual
on
novel
mobile now?
version on mobile.
Okay.
But it
Wait,
removes
novel version?
it like removes the puzzles,
What? Why?
which I get puzzles aren't for everybody, but they're very well done in this series, and you probably want to experience.
But
them.
they ported it.
So
But they took out the puzzles.
I don't have my facts straight on this because I haven't played
Okay,
the iOS
okay.
version. But my understanding is that you can play this compromised version on iOS, or you can play the DS version, and that's it.
Okay.
At least for right now,
Gotcha.
right this very second. And then they released Virtue's Last Reward on Vita and 3DS. Now there's Zero Time Dilemma, which is on Vita, 3DS, and PC.
Oh, okay.
And so these are all years apart. They're on different platforms. And the most frustrating thing is that I wish I could sit here and say, hey, get this hot new release on PC if you want to. No. No. Like, do not play these games if you are not going to play them in order
Okay.
they released.
Okay.
At the very least, you could maybe make an argument for not playing 999, but because like the real crux of the story, I think gets introduced in Virtue's Last Reward. But I'm one of those people where the things that you learn in 999 add so much flavor, and the revelations and the payoffs that happen in the other 2 games mean so much more to you if you play that first game. And so you can probably understand it if you just play Virtue's Last Reward and the Zero Time Dilemma, but I don't think it's going to emotionally
You won't
resonate
appreciate as much, right?
as much. But it's worth it. Like, whatever you have to do, like if you have to go on eBay and buy a DS or whatever you want to do, it's worth it to play these games. And I'm going to get a little bit hyperbolic here, and I feel like I can say this
it.
now that I'm at the 3rd game.
Do it.
As far as trilogies of games are concerned, as far as storylines are concerned,
Brace yourself.
I'm not talking about gameplay. I'm purely talking story.
Brace for impact.
I don't know if I've seen a better story told through 3 successive games. It is so intricate, so well thought out, so complex, and satisfying once you finally reach that conclusion. Like, it is blowing me away. The last 3 days, I've stayed up till 5 in the morning, beating my head against these puzzles just because the story has me that utterly gripped.
I feel like you just betrayed the goddess. Final Fantasy 13.
I don't think the Final Fantasy 13 trilogy has anything on this.
Well, let's be fair, man. You stay up till 5 a.m. playing games all the time.
I do.
This is not new.
But I was doing it with conviction.
All right.
Right? Like,
That's
I'm gonna
not
say,
new either.
All right. I'm running out of defenses here, but I won't say any single spoilers at all with Zero Time Dilemma because people would kill me and rightfully so.
Yeah.
But I want to talk a little bit about why these games are so gripping without going into the details of the story. And I think what's so cool about them is they're this visual novel format where you're presented a bunch of different options and you can go to those points in the story. And it's not just a sort of tool. The story takes into account that fractured nature and when you see things and when you don't. And how you choose to progress in that game deliberately affects what you uncover in the story. But it's more than that. It goes a layer deeper. And so you meet these characters that you spend 15, 20, 30 hours with, and you'll meet a character that you think is the sweetest person in the world. But because you see them in so many different circumstances, you see the full range of their personality. And so this person that you thought was an absolute sweetheart that wouldn't harm a fly becomes a maniacal killer. And you see that gradual transformation and being able to explore these characters. It's like you take something, like everything in the Zero Escape series you're looking at, and then you keep looking at it from different angles, and your understanding of it gets deeper and deeper with each look you're given. Whoa. And you get you get so attached to them. You get so attached to them because you have this thorough understanding. And I feel like it's made me realize how in most games, kind of what you see is what you get. You have the tomboy childhood friend, or you have, the buddy cop guy that's a little bit gruff on the inside. They don't go deeper than that. Whereas these people, as you learn more about their histories, like, they feel real. They don't feel like characters that are constructed because they respond differently in different situations, and you get to see all that. And I think Michael Huber would especially love it because I feel like it is people are going to get mad at me for saying this, but I feel like it's the Saw franchise done right.
Cool.
Where in the Saw franchise, you put these people in these horrible traps.
Sounds like Danganronpa.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
So I've long said that I like Danganronpa better than Zero Escape.
But not anymore because of this third one?
But not anymore because of this third one.
Nice. Dang.
And that's because I think Danganronpa gets so ridiculously crazy, and Zero Escape does as well. But even the most batshit insane parts of Zero Escape are explained so well and so logically that you're like, yeah, that totally makes sense.
Makes sense in that universe.
Yeah, well... Cool.
Kind of.
But the thing is, they're explaining these things that make sense in this universe with real-world concepts.
Oh.
So they'll give you scientific explanations. Like, one of the key principles of this world is explained with Schrodinger's cat. And so they take these real-world things and apply them in a fictional way that is just, like, absolutely...
Kojima style.
Yeah, it is... It's the best kind of science fiction, right? Where it doesn't feel like artifice. It feels like there's a basis in reality. Like, people thought about these things, and they're like, okay, taken to an extreme level, we can make you believe that this could happen. And I feel like I can't get into any more without spoiling anything, but holy cow, like, some of these payoffs that are having, some of the revelations are just absolutely mind-blowing. And I think in a lot of trilogies, they'll create a bunch of mystery. Like Mass Effect is a good example, right? Where they built that world up so well, and they gave you so many questions, and then the third game, they kind of wraps it up in a way where you're like, well, all right, like, that was an ending, I guess, but I don't feel complete, because the build-up is usually better than the payoff, and that's not the case here. Like, every answer they're giving, you can just, like, slot it in a way that you're like, whoa, my mind is completely blown, and... Yeah, it's worth it.
Sounds hype, dude.
Yeah,
and the thing is about Zero Time Dilemma. The game keeps crashing on me. Oh. I've had it bug out multiple times. The animation is terrible. Like, a character is talking and they're giving like this super emotional speech, and her hair is like clipping into her back. And there are little moments like that, but the story is so good that it just rises above. I think in a lesser game, those things would break my immersion so much more, but not in Zero Escape. I really, like, I know I get on here all the time, and I feel like my words have less power as a result. I get on here all the time, and I get excited about games, and I say, hey, you should play this, but honestly, truly give it a chance. So
I'm playing Yakuza first.
that's fine.
Sorry.
That's fine.
I need to take that down, that juggernaut.
Yeah.
Well done.
But it sounds cool, dude.
It is
Keep me
very
posted.
cool.
Keep me posted on your Yakuza progress.
Got one ready to go.
The other game that I've been playing, and I kind of like Huber, I'm not going to get too much into it because of a review, but I'm playing Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE, and I hate saying the title every single time.
Why did they change
Is it
the
Sharp
name?
FE?
It's Sharp FE. And the reason it's Sharp is because Tokyo Mirage Sessions is all about music.
Yeah. Yes, like.
So this is Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem, and I don't know for sure. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the reason they just didn't call it that, and what I like about it is it's not just a mashup game. It's not like, think about every single time there's a crossover.
It's
and
not like Persona Q.
It's
where
not like. Yeah, it's not like you've got these Fire Emblem characters and they're like, whoa, we're in the Shin Megami Tensei universe. What's all this modern stuff? We're from medieval times. Think about how many crossover things you've seen like that where it's
the
Strangers in a
Flintstones meet
Strange
the
Land.
Jetsons.
Yes.
Yep.
They don't do that here. Instead, what they do is all of the Shin Megami Tensei, not all of it, but a lot of the Shin Megami Tensei stuff and Fire Emblem stuff is sort of a backdrop to this unique world and these unique characters. All of that stuff sort of enhances. Like, you could strip it all away and there's still a game there, I think, for the most part. And I think it's much better as a result. Like, you can kind of just treat this like a new JRPG series that happens to have Shin Megami Tensei and Fire Emblem trappings. Like, when you level up, the Fire Emblem sound plays. It goes, dur, 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 and it's like, oh, that's cool. It's a nice touch. But these characters in this story are still unique to this game. And what I like about it is how focused it is. It doesn't feel like it's trying to cram too many ideas into one thing. And the story is pretty simple. There are these devious, they're called mirages, but you can call them spirits, whatever you want, are causing a ruckus, and you and your unlikely band of heroes must figure out what's going on and stop the threat. But it's taken with such... Like, they commit to it so hard. They commit to the storyline that is not really all that amazing, and they make it super charming because the characters are just really funny. Because you're the way that you get better is you have to be like pop idols. You have to be like J-pop idols.
Ben, I saw you playing this online.
Yeah.
And I watched like 10 minutes of it, and I was like, I have no idea what's happening in this game right now, but it looks fun.
So when you go into a fight and you get a first attack, your characters are all smiling. The battlefield is a stage. You hear people cheering. There's confetti everywhere. And that sort of attitude and atmosphere kind of permeates the whole thing, where it's something that you can play and just feel good about because it's nodding and winking at you the whole time. I don't think that's going to work for everybody, but it's definitely working on me. Your sort of personal trainer who makes you a better idol his name is Barry. He reminded me a little bit of Michael Huber in some ways because he's this big burly guy that has this shirt with like cutesy anime girls on it. And
Just like Mike.
Yes. I got a lot of those.
Because it's your first training session, he he's really hard on you, and he's saying that you're like absolutely terrible, and he says to himself, I could have been watching my favorite anime instead of training you. And it's just
like Mike.
And he says it with such
Could've been
a
watching
straight
Vikings.
face, and the characters get so torn up about it that you're like, this is
Yeah.
dumb. And yeah, I think that tone and that style is just it's
wacky.
works. It's wacky and it's
Yeah,
fun.
just have fun with it.
Yeah.
Just go with it.
Yeah, because I think it's way better to do that than to take like kind of a cliche storyline and treat it super, super seriously. There's another game that I've played that we'll talk about on the next
I already know what you're
episode of
talking
Fun
about.
Track. That kind of does that, but yeah. That's Tokyo Mirage Sessions. I'm a little bit worried because I feel like it being on the Wii U and it being this weird thing with this weird title. It's
Weird
gonna
time
get,
for it to come out.
Underrated, but man, if you like JRPGs, it's good. It's good stuff.
Do you have to have played Fire Emblem
No.
at all or anything?
That's the great thing about it is you don't really have to have any knowledge of Shin Megami Tensei or Fire Emblem to appreciate it and enjoy it.
Cool.
Whatsoever. You don't need a single shred of knowledge. So,
Cool.
yeah. Those are my two games. Now we're moving on to the highlight of the show. It's time for Hottake. I thought a lot about this Hottake. There wasn't any like big headline that was really gravitating to me or that I wanted to discuss on the show. And I thought of a game that we could do, but the more that I thought about it, and I thought about this panel specifically, because I like to take the panel into consideration, I wanted to talk about the Resident Evil series. As a whole.
Speaking my language.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to... You guys are the experts. I enjoy Resident Evil. I've played a lot of them, but I feel like you guys are burning with passion for Resident Evil. And what I want to start out with is a question. And we can expand on this or move in a different direction if you don't like it. But the response to the Resident Evil 7 demo has been largely negative.
Mm-hmm.
This first-person horror game that's evocative of PT, people are saying it's not Resident Evil. They want a different tone. They want a different style. They want the Resident Evil hallmarks. And they're lashing out against it. And I want to know, what is there any validity in this criticism?
I want Huber to speak right now.
Resident Evil 4 wasn't Resident Evil.
Thank you, Huber. That's what, yeah. I was like, I got to make a comment about RE4 if
Yeah.
Huber does it. And they're like, oh, there you go.
Yep.
I think, yeah, every series, Final Fantasy VII really frustrates me, man. I mean, it's like, it frustrates me when I talk to Final Fantasy fans. We're like, it's a Final Fantasy game. And it's like, you're not using your brain. Like, you look at the first 6 games and then look at 7. And, like,
Yeah.
it is... Like, if that was a pillar, man, like, they just shook every floor of that pillar. And a lot of really amazing things came out. I was averse to all of them at the time because I felt I was, like, betrayed in a sense. Granted, I was, like, 15, 20 years younger than I am now, so it's, like, a little more emotional when it came to games. Yeah, a little more opinionated. Maybe those are the people that are speaking out the most about RE7. Like, because I thought I had something. I thought this was mine. I thought it was like, oh, no, I can expect what this is going to be. And... that's a dangerous thing to do in art if you want to have a long-lasting life. I think in a medium like video games, where tech drives so much of innovation and really pulls you in so many directions that you might not have thought of otherwise when you're telling a story, I think it is impossible to maintain, unless you're going to be like Mega Man and just kind of like not be as popular as you could be because you're just like, you know, like Sonic, or, you know, just like Street Fighter. You know, like Street Fighter seems to, despite, you know, sticking to characters in the story and the style of the old games, reinvent itself every single time. You know, every time it's like, okay, this is a whole new ball of wax. I always got frustrated with Warcraft because they did that. You know, I would leave for a little bit and be like, my class, you know, completely changed. And I think just franchises need to do it. So
you talked about Street Fighter though, and you're talking about all of the examples of things changing, but people are responding to them well. Every Street Fighter game has Ryu. Every Street Fighter game has a Hadouken or a Shoryuken. Whereas in the Resident Evil 7 demo, you know, you're not playing as Leon S. Kennedy. I don't think there are, outside of the umbrella symbol, you know, there aren't a lot of overt callbacks. So do you think that's what's hurting it? Because, you know, in Resident Evil 4, you're still picking up herbs. You're still...
Well, herbs are confirmed to be in Resident Evil 7.
Yes, I understand that. I understand that the demo is not representative, but do you think that what Resident Evil is showing, and it's not calling back to those things, is that what has people up in arms?
I think it's just changing, like, first person. People figuring out, like, honestly, anything that's not 6 is a step in the right direction for me, man.
Thank you.
Thank God it's different. If it was like 6 again, I would be like, I'm out. This franchise is dead.
They're in. For me, they're in a spot where they have absolutely nothing to lose.
Yes.
Coming off of
Yes,
Resident Evil.
exactly.
Yeah.
They have absolutely nothing to lose, and I think this is the fact that it's not just a straight reboot has me so excited as a fan that really obsesses over the lore, because I think if it was a reboot, you'd have a lot of people saying, okay, well, here we go, new direction. I think maybe they'd give it a little more benefit of the doubt. The fact that it's 7, I think, pisses a lot of people off, when for me it's awesome, because if that franchise, 20 years of lore, had ended on Resident Evil 6, it would have just crushed me. It would have destroyed me. And now this is kind of like a second chance to, okay, let's right this ship. Let's get back on the timeline. But also, it feels like a reboot kind of disconnected from all that. So maybe we'll get a fresh perspective on the events that have happened so far.
4 didn't cover Umbrella at all. 4 was a guidance, if you will.
4 was just like,
Jones, don't even talk to me about this. You're making me upset. I'm
What?
so mad right now.
About what?
The Umbrella,
story
yeah.
4. The story 4.
Jones, if you saw my Huber Hype episode, the biggest video game letdown of my entire life, all I wanted to do in life was to destroy Umbrella. Resident Evil 4 begins with some narration, and after that, Umbrella was shut down. I've been trying to take him down my whole life! My whole life! Code Veronica, they fly off to go take down Umbrella. Resident Evil 4 starts like, alright, Umbrella's gone. Here we go.
Isn't that, like, in a weird way, isn't that Umbrella Chronicles? Like, the weird, like, Wii shooter? Don't you, like, go to Umbrella and bomb some shit?
That, yeah.
You get a little bit of the satisfaction there. Well, but I mean, try to look at it, try to take, the zero escape method and look at it from a different perspective. Mm-hmm. Would killing one person really take Umbrella down? Like the fall of Umbrella probably would have had to have happened internally. They would have had to have eaten themselves, alive, basically. And so I think that's what happened. I don't think there was like one.
It was
they're not going to go in there and like shut the power down in the building and like
But I wanted to expose the secrets. You know?
They built up to like doing that.
They built
every
up
game.
to like exposing them.
I think the world of Resident Evil wouldn't give a shit about Umbrella secrets. I think it's so far gone, and by that point, it's like they're so used to the apocalypse, like they're so used to all of these crazy things happening, and it's like living in the reality of these giant monsters like running around. But tonally 4 was such a shift. Like characters were sassy and sarcastic, and like everybody up until then was just like, no, I have this deep secret. Even like the mayor in 2 and Birkin and like everybody you met, just was so depraved and so horrible. Even like Red Dress, Ada, like. Like trying to really figure her out and trying to figure out what her intentions are. And then she's like, Leon. I'm like, what game is this? Like he morphs into a giant plant thing. Like, there were, 4, took the series in all sorts of different crazy directions. But like, damn, is that game fun to play?
Yeah, it's real fun.
And so...
And there was just enough callbacks to the old series. You were Leon and Ada. Wesker was manipulating from the shadows. The payoff of Wesker in that game... leading into 5, like, the reason 4 is happening right now, Wesker is, like, playing a game. He's trying to get that virus. He's trying to just collect them all Pokemon style. So, I think it's so early to judge 7. Like, what if...
We haven't even seen what 7 is going to look like.
We don't even know who the villain is. What if it's, like, Alex Wesker trying to, like, put back...
we don't know who you are. Very intentionally, we have no idea who you are, And I think they really scraped, maybe not the bottom of the barrel, but, like, the side of the barrel to kind of chisel off a little part of the game and show that off enough to have people raise questions, and then the next time we see 7, it's like, oh, okay, all right, yeah, it's kind of like the kitchen. It's like, yeah, that was that demo, that was the same engine and the same. It did look like that, but I didn't know it was Resident Evil at the time. And then like later on, kind of what I was hoping PT would do with Silent Hills was that you would start us way over there, and then I would go through this crazy adventure, and then I would open up a door, and now I'm in the hallway, and I'm like, oh, I'm here. It's like, it'll be fun if like RE7 doesn't. Well, it says the beginning, like the actual demo, but it'd be fun if like that house. That actually, we don't realize what's really going on in that house or why we're, even messing around with that family until like hour 2, hour 3 into the game. Yeah. I think that would be cool.
So just a couple of questions that I want to throw at you guys. And keep in mind, I'm just doing this to play devil's advocate. I'm just doing this to facilitate conversation. What I say is not necessarily my opinion on Resident Evil or Resident Evil 7. But I think maybe part of the response to why the direction is a little bit different is you think about Silent Hill, and when you sit down and you say, what are your favorite things about Silent Hill? No one's going to go, well, it plays super well. It feels great shooting things.
I like GTA because the gunplay. Like,
right. Whereas in Resident Evil, for a long time after Resident Evil 4 came out, that game just felt better than other games. And the amount that you could do with that combat and your flexibility, and it's just like that did action in a horror game in a way that we hadn't seen before. Mm-hmm. And I think that set a precedent for things to come. And stripping that back and basically just being a camera moving around a house and picking up things here and there, it's definitely jarring for people. Do you think there's any validity to that?
Less action is good for me.
Yeah.
For Resident Evil. It had way too much action. When you have choppers crashing in like China and you're running from like Michael Bay movie. Come on, man.
They were off the rails in the worst possible way.
Wasn't that the thing that everyone screamed at him, from 6?
Yeah.
They were just like, I remember Screw Attack did a countdown. They literally just showed him with the cars. Like, and they were like, that's all I have to show you from this game to tell you, like, this is not what I want Resident Evil to be. So Capcom's like, okay, cool, we'll go in the other direction. Now everybody's like, no, we want 6 again? Like,
do you think 6 is maybe just a misinterpretation of 4, though? Do you think...
Yes.
6 is a misinterpretation of how to conclude the Resident Evil series. Like, I loved 5. I don't think 5's a great game, but I enjoyed the hell out of every minute I played of that game. I played chapters in that game repeatedly, dozens of times. And 5... is I would say maybe one of the most mature. I mean, it's wacky because all RPG games are wacky, but like I think 5 is really trying to reach a level of like actual modern storytelling. And like, okay, let's actually do some things with these characters you're not expecting. Let's actually make a game where like Chris Redfield might die. What? How, you don't know. We can do anything with these characters now. And ultimately, just this final showdown with Wesker that was ridiculous but satisfying.
Oh yeah.
And I think with 6. Everyone was like, oh, just go back to your roots. Go back to your roots. It's like, oh, it's so action heavy now. It's so like episodic based. It's like, let's make something more linear. Let's bring all the characters together. And I think they tried this kitchen sink approach that like made sense to me when RE6 was first announced. I was very excited about that game. I saw like having Leon and Chris like point guns at each other. I was like, I see what you're doing. This is really cool. Like bring everybody back because you have so many characters and so many different outbreak people into this. Let's do it. Let's have a big fun reunion to celebrate. What's like 20 years now? That's like they're stamping on like the RE7 thing. It's like it's a great thing to do for an anniversary and to wrap up the series and do something new. And it just didn't work. Like it was like I think most people can like Outbreak 1 and 2 are really good games. Like I think this next to like Gun Survivor, this is like one of the most disappointing Resident Evil games as far as like how good not the worst. Have you played the first Gun Survivor, dude?
Yes.
There's like broken English within
I don't
4
even
minutes
care.
of that game.
6 is offensive. 6 is offensive to the legacy. It is offensive to the franchise. It is insulting to be part of the canon that is Resident Evil. To see Leon and Chris in these situations just gets me upset. It gets me sad. I've lost sleep at night.
But I think it was I think that was the end result of adding like drop kicks to RE4. Like I remember when I did that for the first time, I was like, whoa. Like Leon just like kung fu'd that guy. Like that doesn't necessarily immerse me in a horror world.
It's not even
when
that.
when I see when like I don't know, when you put like a like a the Arthur suit, like the on what's her name, she's like clank 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 clank, like running around. Like there's just a lot of comedy in RE4 that I was not expecting.
But it's like even more subtle than that. It's just straight up design, like the village in Resident Evil 4. You can go up the ladders, through the windows, like set a trap and go through all these like different buildings. Where so many encounters in Resident Evil 6 are like square room, like the gun shop. There's like 4 windows for zombies to come in, and you seriously just stand there as they shamble in through the windows. Whereas Resident Evil 4, like even the part where you have to protect Sarah, and there's like an upstairs and a downstairs. He's downstairs, you're upstairs, like pushing the ladders over, but then you hear downstairs like chaos and explosions.
Yeah.
It's just...
I think, and it's raining, and you can't see them. So if you actually look out the window, you're like, oh, they're just spawning it from the environment. It's like, no, you can see them. If you are over the window, you can see them slowly approaching the cabin. So like you can know, if you pay attention to the windows, you'll see a target coming like a long ways away. So I just look at, long story short, I look at the Resident Evil series as like a giant game of Jenga. And I think they just pulled out too many pieces to try to make RE6 happen, and the whole damn thing came crashing down. And so they're like, all right, now we're playing Monopoly. Like this, we're done. Like we did, like what you're talking about, you got like 10 to 12 games in that genre, in that style. If that doesn't satisfy you, I just don't see where else they could go.
Time to move on.
Unless they either do what they did before with the same gameplay style, with a whole new brand thing of characters, completely rewrite the story, like go back to the beginning.
I'm glad they didn't.
Or... yeah, show me some gameplay.
To end with Jake Wesker in like Bolivia or wherever the hell.
Could RE7 be a train wreck? Totally.
Sure.
Am I intrigued at least? Do I want to see your next trailer? Hell yeah. Where's this going?
Counterpoint here. A sensation that I've gotten with Resident Evil over the years, like when I played Resident Evil 1, I had never played a game like that before ever. I mean, I didn't play Alone in the Dark, so Resident Evil 1 to me was like, oh, this is the concept of survival horror. Okay, Resident Evil 2 with the different characters and how they interacted in those like complicated playthroughs. I I didn't play Resident Evil 3, but Resident Evil, I didn't until much later.
Full playthrough, baby.
Yeah. And then Resident Evil 4, it was like it threw all of that out and it went, now this is survival horror. And then it expanded upon that with like, this is how you do it with co-op. And so I feel like you get, like, it always felt like Resident Evil was leading the charge. And I think maybe something you could lobby against Resident Evil 7 is it feels like it's following somebody else's blueprint, where as I'm playing that demo, it's definitely scaring me, it's definitely atmospheric, but I'm getting vibes similar to Amnesia: The Dark Descent, or Outlast, or PT with its convoluted, what do I do with this? Let's go on the internet puzzles, where it doesn't have really any ideas that I'm like, holy cow, I can't compare this with something else.
I think, well, I'm banking on...
And again, the demo's not representative of the final game.
Exactly. And some things that Amnesia and Outlast and PT didn't have was combat. And that's something we haven't seen. So
Sure.
I'm really banking on the combat for Resident Evil 7, making it meaningful, making it just super intense. Like, can you imagine just some that moment if you have like only like 3 bullets in your gun and some zombie just starts walking towards you slowly? Like, that has me excited.
Makes things feel like a threat again.
Yeah, exactly.
Because nothing really did later on in
Yeah.
Resident Evil.
Like, when I see a zombie in Resident Evil 7, I want to be freaking out. I want my palms to be sweating. Like, I want it to mean something again.
That's a really good point.
And replayability. Like, I think that'll be something that'll really benefit the Resident Evil series. If the campaign isn't super long, if it's like 8 hours, but those 8 hours are really good. And when you're done with that 8, it's like what I did. Actually, one of my biggest disappointments with the RE7 demo was the invisible wall between you and the second reporter. When he's like
To follow him.
when I lost him, I was like, oh, I want
Yeah.
to follow that guy and see what happens. You can't. They like physically block you. It's like, oh, bummer. Because that, I think, is something that could really benefit RE7. Is you wondering, like, I wonder if I think you just skip that other house, that little shack in the back there. What if I don't open that door and let those 20 zombies out? Like, I wonder if that affects the story.
Yeah.
I'll make it, if we want to get to hyperbolic statements, I just had an epiphany about Resident Evil. I think Resident Evil began my journey of video game immersion. Because like when I played games in the NES and Super Nintendo, like playing Final Fantasy VI, I was immersed as hell, but I wasn't there. Like I wasn't like when the Figaro Castle descends, like I wasn't like feeling the dust on my face. I was watching a representation of this story, and I was just hooked on the story. Like I'm just into like I just really want to rescue Princess Peach. I just really want to see like the end of Metal Gear or whatever. But like walking outside, feeling the difference between the interior and the exterior of that Spencer mansion. And actually, I remember that one, like, that little, like, gated area where, like, the dog comes jumping over the fence?
Yeah.
And there's, like, a little L-shaped around, like, the brick side of the mansion. Like, I remember, like, going outside and hearing the wolves, howling and being like, okay, now I'm hearing it. Now I'm seeing it move in 3D space. Like, now I actually feel...
And it's that with the documents, with, like, a corpse in a corner... Like, a corpse in a corner is like, how did this guy die? What happened here?
Yeah.
Like, thinking about that.
If you think about RE going back to your roots, like, because I even played like Doom and Quake in 3D, but again, it was like they were so representational, it was so action focused that like I never felt like I'm really in hell right now. I was like, no, I'm just playing a fun shooter game from this perspective, which is great. But like actually, putting you. If you do it right, like Huber loves to say, if you turn the lights off, if you crank the volume up, if you actually like try to
dive in,
immersed in it, I hope it doesn't suck. I hope it's not. I hope it's not all smoke and mirrors right now.
Can only go up.
So,
almost 6.
And I'm sorry.
But their heart. I just really want to say their heart is in the right place.
Because the only reason I'm coming out against this,
no, not you. I'm saying they are in the right place because they have come out numerous times and said, "Yo, the fans want horror. The fans did not like 6. This is for the fans. We're going back to our roots.
We should be able to do this.
Yeah.
We should be able to pull this off.
Yeah.
If we're really, if we're really good at this, if we really care about this franchise, like we should be able to make a really terrifying game.
And in any
they're
case,
carrying the
if
PT
7 is a bust, you have Resident Evil 2 Remake.
Right.
We're getting
To fall
that
back on.
classic
And
Resident
they're
Evil.
carrying the PT mantle. I'm surprised that people don't give them the benefit of the doubt just for that. Like they've come out and said, like, we were in development on this game when we saw PT get announced. We were like, oh, okay, that just happened. But at the same time, like, they're in this amazing position to, like, see this concept that was introduced with PC actually realized.
One more facet of the Resident Evil 7 equation that I want to talk about before we move on is all of Resident Evil 7 you'll be able to play it in VR if you want. So they're going to have to adapt that game to... I'm gonna say unproven technology, right? Like a new format, a new way of playing games that has not been around for all that long. And when I think about games adapting to technology that isn't a controller and a screen, it gets worrisome. It gets scary. It's not always done very, very well. And you talked about combat, right? You talked about how you needed it to feel gripping. Do you think that sort of feeling, that sensation, could be compromised by VR? Like, let's say they have to, greatly affect how the game looks because of VR, or how it plays, or something like that.
I played it in VR, and I'm a little worried. Played it twice at E3, 2 times in VR. It's very pixelated. Just looking down the hall is super blurry. Like when you crouch, the camera just like skips frames. All of a sudden you're just like crouched. You don't settle into a crouch. And the fact that it's converting to VR. It's not made for VR. Yeah, it's not the intended format. It's being converted. So
can I sprinkle a little hype though in the situation? So imagine, Huber in 1997. When did RE come out? 6. Yeah. So he's little Michael Huber, 1996, playing Resident Evil 1 on the PlayStation 1. Yeah. And the best you can do is when you have a shotgun, you can wait until the very last moment and hold your shotgun up and take it out that way. But if you have a pistol, it's like, I could lose 7 bullets on this thing. I could lose 3. I don't know. I could get a lucky shot. I could get a crit. I have no idea. Imagine actually physically having like 3 bullets in your revolver and waiting right up until that zombie comes up and actually seeing the gun and being like, no, you're there. I'm only 1 bullet, 1 hit, 1 shot. Yeah. Again, it could suck, but it's just like, it gets me thinking about those things. That's why stuff like that is my favorite kind of E3 announcement, because it is the game we're talking about. Forza Horizon 3, sure, great. I have questions, not a ton. Just when is it happening? Like stuff, silly things like Dragon Quest Builders. I'm totally sold on. Steep sold. For Honor sold. It's like, we could talk about it for 2 hours, but like shut up and take my money.
It's like everyone talks shit on Call of Duty for being the same damn thing every year. Like let's take risks. Let's risk it all. Let it ride. Like let's go.
And what's great is we're not just talking about this with Resident Evil. We're talking about this with The Legend of Zelda.
God of War.
With God of War.
Yes.
There are a lot of longtime franchises that people are just throwing out the rule books for. And I think that's super, super exciting. It in a way, I feel like with the advent of 3D, we had to answer that question of how do we do this technically? And I feel like now they're saying, how do we reinvent thematically? Mm-hmm. And I think that's even more exciting.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for that moment. They're not going to show it in trailers. They're not going to talk about it. You're going to be 7 hours deep into Resident Evil 7. You're going to be in some crazy mansion. All hell is breaking loose. All these zombies are coming. All of a sudden, Leon S. Kennedy is going to kick the door down and be like, get over here! Or like Barry Burton. Anyone.
It'd be cool to do a reveal in first person, to literally not have like that moment where like I'm Wesker, but like actually like you find a mirror. That's it. That's how you find out.
You play the first person the whole time.
You get that NDA from Capcom when you get the game, and they're like, you've mentioned you're playing as Wesker. We will kill you. We will find you and kill you. Like we really want people to discover that.
Wow.
Or facing a tyrant in first person. Like there's just a lot of stuff that could go right.
Absolutely.
I wasn't saying that with RE6. I was like, oh, I see what they're doing. Okay, fingers crossed. Mm-hmm. But with this, it's like, sky's the limit. I like risk. I like that. It's the same with Kojima. It's like, that game could be bad. It doesn't seem like it will. It seems totally illogical, but like the chance is still there and then maybe the next game's great. But that first one, he might just kind of lose his footing a little bit. He's got a lot on his shoulders. He's got to start a new company, working with people he's never worked with before. Who knows? They're rolling the dice. Capcom right now. We're just waiting.
And again, we got Resident Evil 2 remake waiting in the shadows. Everything is fine.
I don't want to get
Everything is fine.
I like the optimism though. I like the applause of new efforts.
Well, after
the question is, will the Easy Allies community be willing to sit through 2 full playthroughs of the Resident Evil 2 HD? Both Mike Huber and myself.
Multiple.
Yeah, they will.
Multiple.
It's time to wrap up the show. We're getting close to the end. I've got some emails picked out for us.
Excellent. Any about Resident Evil?
Spoilers.
Not that I can remember.
Let them come naturally.
The first one is a pretty straightforward question. So we don't have to go on for too long about it. But this is from Doron. He says, "Shalom, allies.
Shalom.
In a parallel world, you've not been exposed to video games at such a young age. Because of this, you're not as passionate about video games as you are in this one.
Oh no.
In this other dimension, what are you doing for a living?"
Yeah.
Music.
Movies.
Something with music.
I'm writing books.
Whoa.
I think that was my answer. I'd be writing books. My other passion growing up was reading, and
Yeah.
probably be like vying for Wizard of the Coast to do like Dragonlance novels
Or
Nerd.
I'm making maps.
Dude, legit, man. I went on one hike here in beautiful Los Angeles County, and there was a guy who was selling his own maps on the trail.
Yes.
Did you buy
So,
one?
oh hell yeah, man!
Yeah.
It was just so nice, just a simple table smaller than this one, just literally just on the trail, middle. Like it takes an hour and a half to get to this guy. It was like a quest giver in an RPG map, and he was just like,
in the
"Hey,
wilderness."
this is just a very specific map. It says things that you probably won't find, like broad things, where it's just like if you need these types of, if you like, you can
So
hike
cool.
to here if you just want to camp, but if you want to go straight up, because there might be some cool things around here you don't know.
So
You just might not see on the local map. It was a badass map,
Went
laminated and
in
everything,
his
ready to go.
eye. Like the inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long
awesome.
ago
That
was
is
this?
sick. Yeah.
This is recent. It's about 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, 3 or 4 years. So he's probably not there yet. Or still, I mean.
But does it go up every day? Like, or maybe he just goes up when in
this
the,
guy.
Nice
the
day.
Do you know his
in the
name?
beginning of the summer. Oh no,
Okay.
I don't even know if I could dig up that map.
Map giver.
Our next question comes from Namzor.
Let me write that on that map for you.
What is your favorite snack after a long night of gaming?
Snack?
After a
What
long
was
night.
yeah? So that was what was weird to me about this question. Is I thought about it. I was like, well, I don't usually have a snack after a long night of gaming.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you don't want to eat something right before you go to bed.
I'm
You want
going
to brush
to
your
bed.
teeth or something.
So
I-
what is your let's modify this question a bit. No disrespect to Namzor, but maybe this will just facilitate better answers. What is your favorite snack while you are gaming?
So I do not eat while I watch
Correct.
anything or play anything, period. I have like water or a glass of wine or
But you have
something.
shows that you watch TV and you eat with.
What?
But I have a dedicated show like Bachelorette. I'll be eating dinner while watching it or something. But when I am done with a long gaming session, I will have like 3 bites of ice cream.
Just 3
3
bites.
bites.
Just like boom, boom,
Wow.
boom. Put it back in the freezer.
This is like some sort of ritualistic behavior.
2,
Why-
not exactly 3 every time. Like 2, 3, 4 bites. That's it. It's refreshing, Come out, your brain is all like foggy after a long sesh. Sometimes you're sweating because you've been sitting in the chair for so long. A couple refreshing bites of ice cream.
Why do you, under most situations that aren't the Bachelorette, why don't you eat anything?
It's distracting. It takes me out of it. My hands get all greasy. I like to keep my controllers clean. I always wash my hands before I have a gaming session.
Use a fork.
What if you're like chips? People that eat chips
don't
while
eat
they
chips
game
then.
is like that's. Oh, I can never do it.
It's funny to hear you talk about it because you hear a lot of people and like, oh man, I can't wait to get home and unwind and after a long day, and they treat video games like very casually, like they can kind of do whatever they want, and you're like, no.
Yeah.
When I'm playing games, I am committed to this
Yeah.
thing. This thing becomes my life.
Yeah. The opposite of Bossman.
You guys, what do you eat while you're gaming or after gaming?
I despise the fact that humans need nourishment. It frustrates me. I'm a weirdo. I'm sure this has come up before.
You sound like
I'm
an
sure this has
alien
come up
in a
before.
movie right now.
I'm sure this has come up before. No, really, man. Like when we used to now my eating schedule is completely out of whack because I work from home. But like when I used to go to an office way back in the day, 5 months ago, when I would actually like go to an office, come home, at, if I was lucky at like 7:45. And like now my evening begins, I'd be pissed that like, God, I gotta heat something up. I have to sit and eat that, and then I'll play. Because if I put it in front of me and go, I'm gonna play my game, I'm not gonna eat it. An hour and a half's gonna go by and look down and go, oh right, whoops, I really should have eaten that. Or I'll just get like a bite of chicken and a spoonful of rice or something, and then like,
So you gotta have an
and then I'll look at
eating
it later
show.
and like, okay, so like I'll try to get that out of the way beforehand. That's why I love Soylent. Me and James Willems.
You and Chuck Heston.
Yeah, man.
Heck yeah.
Just powder, water, shake. Then just like I just every now and then while I'm playing, like, oh yeah, Go back to yams.
The older I've gotten, the more I've enjoyed the act of eating, and the more like I've appreciated like a broader palette of food. And you're just like,
When someone else is doing
Put
it
it
great.
in me.
When someone else is doing it great. If someone comes up like, hey, food, I'm like, oh, great, thanks. And I don't have anything else to
it's
do.
just
Like,
the
going to a
active-
restaurant is like, it's great. But, like, actually, like, you know, I got to make this food. It should probably be healthy. Even, like, sitting in the drive-thru lines, just like, could be gaming right now, you know.
wow.
So,
I'm excited for your
This is like
red.
Oh,
especially
okay.
late night.
Hardcore
Especially late
basketball
night.
player
Soylent's
than
really
that.
good for that fourth meal. Soylent's good for that 1 p.m. You know, if I'm going to try to push this for 2 or 3 more hours, I got to put something in my stomach. Perfect for that.
So my ritual's a little different, I would say. So I'm like Huber, I don't like eating while I'm playing or anything like that.
Yeah.
But if I'm doing a big game sesh and after I stop, it's not eating. I just go outside for a second and get some fresh air and just soak it in for a minute.
Yes.
And like maybe like a glass of water, like quick
Yeah.
refresh or something like that.
Sure.
Cause like when I play games, like I can't play games for straight as long as I used to be able to.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll play like 3 hours. I'm just like, God, I need a break. Like stand outside now. But yeah, I can't sit there forever. They just eat like a big snack after like that. Gotta like let it gel in my mind for a second. Usually,
Take a shower.
no, I don't do that.
Brad, you'd be ashamed of me. I was playing Zero Time Dilemma
I'm not ashamed.
for like 8 hours yesterday, and I was like, I should go outside. And I was like, there's nothing to do out there.
No, it's
The real world.
It's like my body literally needs it though. Like fresh air.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine probably does too.
There's nothing to do out there.
And like, I believed it. I was like, yeah, everything I need is right in front of me. Anyway, so to your point, I hate getting controllers like dusty or greasy
Greasy.
or whatever it is. So what I've done, I'm a big fan of nuts like almonds,
Almonds.
like
good.
unsalted almonds without
Yeah.
anything on them, just straight up natural almonds,
Yeah.
or dry roasted unsalted peanuts are great. You can just play, loading screen happens, pop
Yeah.
in your mouth, you're
Get some
done.
protein.
Yeah, get some protein.
Dude, I have done almonds actually when I've watched some shows.
Yeah.
That is, I forgot about that. It's a good one.
Almost confirmed.
Almonds.
Almonds.
We can confirm all.
Almonds are canon.
All right.
I'm sorry, just the glass of wine bachelorette.
Yes. Yep.
Good almonds.
You gotta have an eating show. It's so
Bachelorette.
nice. Cause like, the day is just so stressful. Just want to come home, unwind. Like
JoJo, man.
sometimes playing a game is work. Even if it's
Like
a game for
you
fun.
get to know some people, and you're just like they're like an onion. You just peel away all the layers. It's like Huber's like Huber just comes charging at you face first with just like Vikings. Like butch dudes, shotguns,
Yeah.
like ninjas, like so many things. You're like, totally, yeah. And you just all put in the same camp, and then just like Gilmore Girls. You're like, wait, what? Like yeah, Gilmore Girls. You're like, oh, okay. And then it's back to like axes,
I
and,
blame them.
like Battlefield. You're like, yeah, totally. And then it's like Bachelorette. Like, what? Wait, what? Like, all right,
Yeah.
right on. Wasn't expecting that.
Man of many tastes.
It's a different category.
You like everything. You have too many tastes. That's why you're always like stressing about.
I don't
not
like
being caught up.
portals and lasers.
Okay, 2 things. you don't like.
Comedy.
and comedy.
That's true.
Yeah.
Before we move on to the next email, something I want to say about emails real quick, just to maybe help this process along, is we get a lot of emails, and that's great. I love the support that the show is getting. But because we get a lot of emails, it's getting harder and harder to make time for the ones that are like 10 paragraphs long. And I'm not insulting you at all. Like the fact that you would sit down and write a 10-paragraph email to us is amazing, but it gets a little hard to parse where it's like, okay, context, question at the very bottom. And if you would like a better chance for your email to appear on the show, just try to make it more succinct. Try to get to the question
like
right
a
away.
TLDR version of everything.
Yeah, like a TLDR version. Like I don't mind you giving me that context, but maybe highlight the question a little bit better.
I've been waiting for the TLDR of this episode this whole time. Just kidding.
Think about frame trap.
It is
though. It's not TLDR.
it is the challenge that faces us all. It's
Yeah.
like how do I make that as short as it can possibly be?
Brendan.
Jones's last episode.
Every
On-
joke has 50% truth.
Oof.
That wasn't a denial.
No, I'm just kidding. I couldn't pass it up.
No, it's good. It's good. My soul is crushed. This question is from Dominic. He says, "Hey allies, I really like this question. What's your favorite trailer for a game that you've never played?"
Ooh.
So is your Jones question?
Oh no, but man. God, I don't know. I'm
I got
thinking
one.
about this
I got one
Okay.
ready to
That's a very
go.
good question.
Cockflock ready to rock. The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Oh wow.
Mm.
Love that trailer. It's like my favorite trailer of the last many, many years.
Oh, I got one.
Persona 5.
Oh,
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
That's the best
Yeah,
trailer.
obviously.
The best trailer.
Yeah.
ever.
I got one Huber's gonna like.
Yeah.
Onimusha 3 Demon Siege.
So
Not
good.
technically kind of cheating.
The intro
people,
cinematic?
People always bring this up because they're like, well, it's the intro cinematic, but it was released way before the game came out. And that's always the difference. If you're like, what's the difference between a game intro and a trailer? Is if it was released, if you can find a file for it on the internet that has an ESRB logo. That's a trailer. That's something that they created and also sent it out as advertising.
I watched that thing
And that-
so
oh my God.
many
That thing-
times.
that
It
thing
is
is-
so good.
That the greatest bummer about that video is it's like SD at best. There's no big giant widescreen version of that media, which sucks so hard. It's just hiding there, and that's Capcom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hiding within Capcom's walls.
That
They
was
have it. Why don't they
so
release
crazy.
it? I don't know. It's the question.
It's like millions.
I knew you were going to have
make
the
that.
best answer to that question.
Also, I'm sorry I didn't play Onimusha 3.
It's good. 1, 2, and 3. So good. All of them are good. 1 through 4. 3 is genre no. Though.
Hashtag genre no.
Our next question is from Thomas. He says, my question is, can you name any game series you love but are okay with never receiving a new installment?
The Last of Us.
Damn it, Huber.
Gotta
Sounds
give
like
a
you're
little
saying.
Stole
bit.
it.
Gotta give a little bit of a reason.
Stole it. Because it ends so perfectly. It you know, a sequel has a responsibility. It can detract from the franchise, kind of like Resident Evil 6 did. Made the overall story and canon worse. So Last of Us is in an absolutely perfect little bubble. And a sequel would risk that. You know, if you played as Joel, if you continued from that point, it would just, you know, it's a risk. A risk that I'm okay with them never taking.
I want to talk about that sequels came from it is the Final Fantasy VII expanded universe.
Sure.
And all the games we've gotten. We didn't need them. I mean, I don't like hate them or anything, but we legit did not need any of that.
Crisis Core, though.
Yeah, it's good, but we
Dirge of
didn't need Dirge of
Cerberus,
Cerberus. We didn't need Advent Children. We didn't need any of that.
Yeah.
But it's like, whatever.
All of it felt really forced.
Yes.
In a lot of ways. Even many parts of Crisis Core felt
Yeah,
super forced.
definitely.
Advent Children's one of my favorite anime films. Couldn't help myself.
Hey, that Tifa fight, though.
I might get smacked by Brad Ellis for this one, but Castlevania,
Oh, no.
I'm good.
Yeah, there's been a lot
sure.
of Castlevanias that didn't
Because
exist.
I think any kind of effort you can make on behalf of Castlevania would be misguided. I think Castlevania doesn't deserve it. It's like go and make
Wait,
what.
wait.
Go,
I don't understand that. What do you mean Castlevania doesn't deserve it?
Go and make, because they've done so many things that just completely disinterest me for so long that it's just like, with the idea you have, don't let Castlevania hold you back from where you could take those ideas. Don't be like, I have an idea for how to fix Castlevania. It's like, I would so much rather you just make Bloodborne. You know, you just make your own game that you don't necessarily need to tie it. I think we're so far from the Castlevanias I really loved that I don't know what that franchise could bring to
So
me
how do you
now
feel about
that I'm not
Bloodstained?
already getting from other games.
How do you feel about Bloodstained?
I love Bloodstained. I think it would be a bummer if the boss at the end of Bloodstained was Dracula. You know, it's like I'd rather see what kooky boss he came up with instead. You
It
know?
probably will be.
That would
Just saying. It probably will be.
What a twist! Bloodstained is actually just the next Castlevania game.
No,
this
I'm
entire
down,
time.
dude. It's been so long since I've killed
Yeah,
Dracula, man.
come
Come on, man.
on,
I need
Jones.
that. I need that.
I'm good.
Gotta end on a high note. Can't just leave
Let's get back on
Castlevania to
track.
die. Lords of Shadow 2, man, insulting.
Oh my
The
god.
ending of that.
That game is...
The end of Lords of Shadow 2.
The battle.
Thinking about it, I'm gonna lose
Yeah.
sleep tonight now.
The battle over Lords of Shadow 2 versus Alien Isolation for most disappointing game of 2014-15.
Yeah.
Well,
That was fun.
it's okay to just be wrong about Alien Isolation.
It's true.
Jones. It's fine.
Whereas I didn't play Lords of Shadow 2, so it's a tough battle.
When I think back at my time of Alien Isolation, I largely think back on it fondly, whereas Castlevania it gets worse with age. The series that I would be probably upset if they made another one is Metal Gear Solid. Like,
Oh, sure.
that
That
is
was an
great
excellent
pick.
pick. Best out
Great
of all
pick.
of us.
that
yeah.
is very
We're good.
clearly
We're
done.
You did it.
Yeah.
Like,
You're well done.
Anything that they try to do with Metal Gear Solid is going to... It's
What
just
if
gonna
they
be
do
insulting
another
for that legacy.
Revengeance? Platinum Games.
But even now, it's like when Revengeance 1 came out, it was clear that Kojima wanted to do this thing with
Yeah.
Raiden, that he had this neat idea for the Zandatsu stuff. And if they make another Revengeance 2, it's just going to feel like, well, we got to do something people will like with Metal Gear. It's like, I don't want the game to feel like that. Well, we've got to do something with Metal Gear, you know. Even Metal Gear Solid 5, for as disappointing as we were with story elements, like the ideas that game had and how it presented stealth in open world, like there was a point to it. I don't want to have a Metal Gear game that's important and prominent, not like Metal Gear Acid or something. Not that those games are bad, but
You know what I would love?
Yeah.
I would love, not now because Kojima's not involved, but I would have loved a Platinum Games Revengeance with Quiet. You play as Quiet. Because, like, she has that, like, movement, you know, where she can, like, run super fast.
Yeah, there's an action game in there.
Yeah.
Guys, we've reached that time of the show where it's time to say goodbye and kiss each other on the lips and part ways.
Whoa. Off camera.
It's a reference to a Michael Huber thing.
I think Brad brought it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my.
But thanks everybody for joining us on this episode of Frame Trap. Sorry it wasn't TLDR, but if you want to reach us, our email, if you want to ask a question, it is askeasyallies@gmail.com. The other thing I want to say is people are still a little bit confused about this, so I'll try to make it more explicit. We don't do the show every week. We do it every other week.
Bi-weekly.
So you are seeing this on a Monday. There will not be a new Frame Trap next Monday. It'll be the Monday after that.
I'm going to ask you a really intense question to end the show, Ben.
All right.
Right now, and you have 4 seconds to give me an answer. If you do not answer in 4 seconds, you're a fraud. Favorite JRPG character?
Dagger, Garnet, Princess Garnet from Final Fantasy IX.
Boom!
Ooh.
There it is.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother show right
Nailed
there.
it.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Next time.
Next time on Frame Trap, we're talking about
Why?
Princess Garnet.
Yeah, we have to. Your
Find out the
reasoning.
answer.
Yeah.